Hello everybody, good morning, welcome to WhatCulture Gaming. My name is Rich, I'm joined by Josh.
Hello!
Brown. And if it's the two of us, it means only one thing, channeling Jules there. It's Call of Duty news time, because right now we are amidst Black Ops 4, which is it's been received a bit weirdly ever since release due to its weird DLC systems. Anyway, we're already looking to November or October this year about what's coming next from Infinity Ward. JB, what's happening?
Well, this has, if you've been following the channel or just leaks in general, you'll probably know that it's long rumored to be Modern Warfare 4. A grand return to the Modern Warfare franchise, which Infinity Ward obviously started, and it's their turn this year, and Infinite Warfare didn't really go down too well, nor did Ghost, so they're returning allegedly to a franchise that everyone knows and loves. But not only that, Rich.
Okay.
Not only that. In order to sell you on this, because exactly like they did with Infinite Warfare, they are apparently, according to Gaming Intel and a Redditor who was allegedly a QA tester for Treyarch, they are they are apparently bundling Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 remasters into the upcoming release.
That is nuts.
It is crazy, and I have lots of thoughts about it, because they could do this so poorly, but they could do it so well as well.
I mean, as you said about Infinite Warfare.
It's so hard to get out, isn't it?
We've got Infinity Ward, Infinity War, and Infinite Warfare to try and get our heads around. Anyway, I've already forgotten. Infinite Warfare and Ghosts weren't exactly big hitters for Call of Duty. Like, Infinity Ward, as much as they started the series, it didn't really go very well for them.
No.
Like, for their last two games. And obviously, as you said, when COD 4 was remastered with Infinite Warfare, and they were like, hey, you can get this, but only if you buy the special edition of the game, that switched a lot of people off. Even when they released it standalone, people didn't buy it.
No, because it was far too late by then.
And it was also still full of modern, at that point, AAA standard gaming stuff of like, here's loot boxes, here's COD points, here's all of this. Like, it wasn't Modern Warfare 1, not saying Modern Warfare 4. COD 4 as we remembered it.
It didn't help that they tried to resell you the DLC as well, Rich, which I'm still not over. This was like 2 years ago. How could they do it? I don't know.
That's the thing that, like, as much as this sounds amazing, because Modern Warfare 2 Remastered, because do you remember last year we were talking about how Black Ops 4 was going to have, or whatever the COD game was going to be, was going to have Modern Warfare 2 with it, as much as that wouldn't have made much sense. People got very excited that we get Modern Warfare 2 again. And even I'm excited to get Modern Warfare 2 again.
Well, not to throw a spanner in the works, Rich, but if you remember to that rumor last year when they were going to allegedly re-release Modern Warfare 2, it was going to be campaign only. And again, this is apparently what the two upcoming remasters are also going to be. No multiplayer, at least not at launch, but the two Modern Warfare campaigns to presumably lead into Modern Warfare 4.
That kind of does make sense, I think, because if you're going to release 3 almost full games, because whether we get Spec Ops from Modern Warfare 2 and whatever the survival mode was in Modern Warfare 3.
I can't remember, actually.
I know that it was like Infinity Ward's first attempt at let's do a kind of zombies clone before just bluntly doing zombies. It makes a lot of sense to try not to release 3 games in one go, because obviously they've only got limited resources at Activision. Of course, they have got Raven, who, bless them, rather than do their own thing, they just sort of trundle along with every Call of Duty every year. So apparently they're working on potentially some war mode stuff.
Interesting.
For Modern Warfare 4, similar to that of World War II, which I didn't really buy into a huge amount.
I did. I really like that. It was
alright, but anyway. But yeah, they might have Beanox on hand, even though they're doing the Crash Team Racing remaster. We don't know who else might be behind this, but doing 3 full games on launch is a big development cycle. I mean, they have had 3 years, but that's 3 full games, as much as it's a remaster.
Not only is it like 3 full games you want to ship out, but that's 3 full games you're potentially splitting the audience's attention by. Exactly. I mean, people are going to, even if it's bad, buy Modern Warfare 4 because it's Modern Warfare 4, but people are still playing Black Ops 4 regardless of the DLC issues, because Blackout especially is such a kind of big thing, and people, Battle Royale's big and people want to play more of that, so you don't want to split people between not only those 2 modes there, but Modern Warfare 4's multiplayer and then Modern Warfare 2's and then Modern Warfare 3's. It makes business sense. I'm not sure if they're going to roll it out. The rumor suggests they might be rolling a multiplayer suite out for both those games out further along down the line. For me, I think a smarter way to do it would be to kind of roll in classic maps into Modern Warfare 4 itself.
To scratch the itch that people will have about not having Modern Warfare 2 and 3's multiplayer. Maybe more so 2s than 3s.
More so 2s than 3s, absolutely.
Back in 2011 when Modern Warfare 3 released, I remember, because Black Ops 1 was a big shake-up for the series, that was when The multiplayer was completely rejigged. Like Treyarch did a completely different overhaul with it because Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer, as much as we remember it very fondly, it was very imbalanced.
It was. It absolutely was.
In some cases, you could call it dreadful, but dreadful in a good way.
That's the thing. It was dreadful in a superb. I can't stop playing this way.
It's like talking about Model 1887 Akimbo. It's like as much as it sends a shiver down your spine, there's that tiny little sense of nostalgia for it as well. But yeah, Black Ops 1 came out and it shook up the whole series, and then Modern Warfare 3 came out, and as that came out, that was when a bunch of Infinity Ward people left or got laid off. I can't remember exactly what happened with Activision. It didn't go very well.
It wasn't a good time.
And that was when Respawn was made, and then Titanfall happened, and Scott jizzed in his pants a few times.
And never stopped. He still is doing that now.
He's still going. He's got Apex Legends to worry about now anyway. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think Modern Warfare 2 is the one that I think will most likely get most attention.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I said to you when we first talked about this morning, that maybe we'll get Modern Warfare 2 Remastered's multiplayer, and maybe not Modern Warfare 3, or...
No.
Just thinking about it, we could get some kind of bastardized hybrid.
Ooh,
but then again, maybe the purists from Modern Warfare 2, because I didn't play Modern Warfare 3. I played it very, very briefly. I played the multiplayer and I was like, whatever. I was still happy with Black Ops at the time, but I think maybe the purists want just Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 might get something, maybe later down the line.
Just off the top of my head, I'm just thinking right now, they could maybe do it sort of like the Halo Master Chief Collection did it, where they rolled it all into one big package and you were going from one game's maps to the next on kind of like between lobbies. Maybe they do that in a way where they roll it into Modern Warfare 4's kind of string of maps, and then you're playing these legacy levels and you're playing these legacy modes alongside the new stuff. I'm not sure how that would work. That would, like you said, be one humongous undertaking, but with Modern Warfare 4, should it be a thing, and let's face it, it's probably going to be a thing.
I think maybe they could have this, like, they could have Modern Warfare 2 and 3 as like playlists, basically, and maybe you have to you get 5 classes of Modern Warfare 2 weapons and 5 classes of Modern Warfare 3 weapons, and then you can play a playlist that is a hybrid of both, so you're jumping between various maps. So it might say, hey, you're going to Rust from Modern Warfare 2, God help you, if it's like a 6v6 team deathmatch game, but you have to pick one of your Modern Warfare 3 classes, and it's like a random, like, basically it's a mosh pit mode between the two games.
I think.
Which could be quite interesting, but I think the idea of them being all on the same disc would make a lot of sense. We just said you bung the disc in, and then there you go, you've got Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, or mosh pit.
Yeah,
you can pick and choose, depending on how they go about it. Obviously, this is all rumour. Nothing of this is confirmed.
No, in Gaming Intel, who have picked it up, said that although their own sources have corroborated some of the information, some of it doesn't seem all that legit, but I don't know, so we don't know. This is, again, hypothetical, although it does link with rumours that we've heard before. I think it makes sense in that if Modern Warfare 4 is coming out, Activision will really want to embrace the nostalgia and the love people have for that franchise, because that was the franchise which made Call of Duty the phenomenal success it is today.
Exactly. Well, Golden Era Call of Duty is called 4 through to Black Ops 2. I think most people would say, and obviously that all became so big because of COD 4. So, and I think people kind of sweep Modern Warfare 1 Remastered under the rug. So that kind of means that the Modern Warfare fans haven't had anything for 9 years.
Which is, it's a ridiculously long time in Call of Duty terms.
Feels like 2 years ago.
And I think if they do this grand return to form and be like, everything you love about this series is in this full package. You can play through the story mode, which will no doubt continue with the new game. You can play through old maps. You can play with old weapons. You can revisit that nostalgia while getting something new. I think that's a really great way to sell a kind of return to a franchise like this, because we haven't actually, I don't think, dropped a sub-franchise and then returned to it in the Call of Duty series. We've always moved on or carried it all the way through. Yeah,
because obviously World at War is the beginning of the Black Ops franchise. Like, that's been just continuing ever since. Obviously, Sledgehammer with Advanced Warfare and World War II, they're 2 completely different games. And then obviously Infinity Ward did Modern Warfare 1, 2, 3, Ghosts, Infinite Warfare, and then back to Modern Warfare, which makes a lot of sense, as I said, like, because their 2 games were a bit like iffy. I said this, I must have said this before, that I feel like if Infinity Ward managed to goof this again, then maybe they might be pushed aside.
You know what? I think so as well.
Maybe they'll take the Raven spot of you just going to help out.
That would be,
which would be such a kick in the teeth
grace, I know,
for the company that made the series in the first place. But at the end of the day, if they're going to do 3 games in a row that are financially and critically not that. I mean, I say financially. I'm sure. I mean, admittedly, this is modern Activision with their ridiculously high goals. Like again, if they manage to goof this 3 times in a row, this could spell bad for Activision.
It is,
Infinity Ward.
It is frustrating because they were originally on the back foot, like you said, when everyone's kind of jumped ship to form Respawn, and they were sort of a shell of a company, and they've done a lot of work to rebuild themselves. Modern Warfare 3, I didn't like so much. I didn't really like Ghosts.
I think that was a hybrid of Infinity Ward and Raven.
Yes, that was the first time.
And maybe actually, it might have been Sledgehammer or Sledgehammer did the multiplayer. It was something very weird, but it was it wasn't just like one studio behind it. It was a mishmash of everything to get the game out on time.
Yeah. But I think with Infinite Warfare, they did do a good job to kind of get back to what people liked about the franchise. I know that might sound blasphemous because people really don't like that game, but from a campaign perspective, the story mode of that game was really good. I don't think the multiplayer was there, but I thought the way they tackled that story mode, the way they kind of innovated and gave you more freedom of how to tackle missions, the way they characterized the people you were actually fighting alongside was really good. And I think if any of the core teams can carry on the Modern Warfare campaign specifically, I think they are the only ones who can do it. Black Ops with Treyarch have sort of fallen off the story mode kind of side of things. I don't think Sledgehammer have really delivered a properly good story so far.
See, I haven't played Advanced Warfare's campaign. I don't have Advanced
Good.
Warfare.
It's alright.
World War II I thought was good fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine. I mean, there's a lot of people saying, oh, it's just Americans being, oh, look how good we are. I don't think I've ever played Call of Duty ever. But I had a good time with that. And I think thinking back to it, I kind of, like, going back to a year ago, playing World War II's campaign for the first time, and I really did have a great time with it. And realizing I haven't had that this year with Black Ops 4 is a bit of a shame. But the interesting one, and this will be one for the comment section as well, where are we going with Modern Warfare 4? Are we going after the events of Modern Warfare 3? Are we going before? Are we having an origin story for Captain Price or something?
I never thought about this before, actually.
Just because it says 4 doesn't mean it's going to be taking place after 3.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of the characters people love about the Modern Warfare franchise are kind of dead or their stories are finished, so maybe it would make sense to kind of jump back in time. The rumors before this suggested that it will be a modern shooter, but that still gives them a lot of leeway. That doesn't necessarily mean right now. That could be sort of like a few years back or a few years ahead, so I don't really know. I would suggest it's going to be a sequel picking up with, I don't know, an older Captain Price or something like that.
Maybe he did survive. Maybe everyone did survive, kind of like how they pulled a fast one with Woods in Black Ops 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he's alive.
I mean, if the guys from Black Ops 1 could survive and be in Black Ops 2, I don't think anything's really on
just imagine, is it Shepard, like with an eye patch on after the end of Modern Warfare 2? Like, you tried to get me there, but it didn't happen.
Robo Shepard's back. And somehow Soap is back alive as well. You know what?
They're all robots. They're all robots.
It really hits the future, and it's Infinite Warfare 2. Whoa! I don't know what you guys think down in the comments below. Are you excited for a potential Modern Warfare 4? Do you think it's a mistake to only include the campaigns? Or are you just not going to buy it at all because you hate Call of Duty and it's the worst thing of all time? Either way, I've been Josh.
I've been Rich.
I've messed it up. I've messed it up. I've been Josh.
And I've been Rich.
You've been watching WhatCulture, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.